Travis Wayne Goodsell. The Church News came out with First Presidency Christmas devotional announcement, December 7th. But they did not list, like they did last year, who will be speaking for the First Presidency. And this is also very interesting. They aren't going to have a public performance. It's all going to be pre-recorded. This is very curious. Those of you who are claiming to be loyal to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints are well aware that at conference, Oaks said that they did not plan to have any temples announced. And if you are faithful and have been experienced with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, you know that there's a member of the 70 assigned to go around the world and scout for temple spots. Which means that way back in April, when they announced the temples, they never had any further pursuit for looking for a temple. All the 6 months. I also noticed that when they started the young adult devotionals, that they announced them for the next year's calendar, who exactly was speaking. After April conference this year, I noticed that nobody was scheduled for a devotional. And then finally, after October conference, Anderson did his young adult devotional with his wife. I pay attention to these things. I pay attention when Monson was on his deathbed and the church was still putting out changes. I pay attention. As a faithful Mormon, you need to do that. You can't be ignorant about Mormonism and claim you're a Mormon. If you do not know your scriptures, what makes you think that you're right about your interpretation of Mormonism? If you don't listen to conference, and I mean listen, not just attend or hear it. This may involve taking notes. This may involve repeatedly listening to them. Whatever it is that you do for school, to study. Are you a faithful Mormon or not? If you do not do anything to learn about church history, to learn about the scriptures, to learn about the doctrine, to learn about the administration, to learn about the theology, to learn about the ritual, why are you Mormon? Why are you giving money to an organization that you don't care about? Are you being held hostage? Do you need to be rescued? Are you forced to go to church? You forced to wear the underwear? Holland, in his little kid devotional that was pre-recorded, told the kids that if you have questions, he set them aside, and then eventually, when he grew up, he learned the answers. I did that too. As a Mormon boy, studying my scriptures, I had lots and 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 lots of questions. I set them aside. I didn't have the internet. I didn't have access to information that I now have. I had to find them. And when you're dealing with ancient languages, it is extremely hard to find them without the internet. But a way was always prepared so that I could learn whatever was necessary, just as my patriarchal blessing promised. You do have one, right? You're a faithful Mormon, aren't you? Did you go before 1991? Or are you too young for a convert? Lots of changes have been made in my lifetime. And so when a Mormon comes to one video and refuses to understand what I'm talking about, who does not study, does not research the church, does not pay attention for conferences, does not follow the church news, does not know what is going on in the world and the church's impact in those places around the world. We have missionaries around the world. Melissa just destroyed Jamaica up into Cuba. We have missionaries there, not just members of the church. Are you concerned about other people? Or are you focused on yourself only? I pay attention to all this stuff. And I do the videos for you when I catch something. And so Mormons don't believe I'm faithful. And because it's not their understanding of their interpretation of Mormon, not having studied, but just been a couch potato Mormon, going through the motions of church each Sunday, conference, as they're often busy doing other stuff and conference is just in the background. Or you go on vacation that weekend and promise that you'll get to it later. And so you see one of my videos and you assume I'm a completely different religion, just like Tammy did the other day. And then you begin to start insulting me and abusing me. You think you're better than I am. I studied. You didn't. And you didn't even bother to check me out, to find out who I am. And I'm wrong, and you're not? Every time a Mormon attacks me, in person, all I need to do is reference scripture for them and they run away and hide. They don't know Mormonism. I do. And it's sad that Mormons don't realize how much of an impact on your lives I've made. Right, Child Faith? So this announcement follows in line with the weirdness that's been going on this year. Of Nelson dying, no more temples, no more devotionals until Anderson. Next year's are set, but no speakers either. And so now the Christmas devotional. No speakers, and it's pre-recorded. Why are we called Latter-day Saints? I would hope you know that we're waiting for Armageddon, and thus the millennium. So what would we be doing in the millennium then? How would we know when it's here? This is where it helps to study your scriptures in advance so that when certain events happen, you're not caught unawares. Currently, I'm watching the Americans, about Russian spies in America in the 80s, and all of the tactics to pretend to be Americans living among us with families and participating in the community and at school, other politics and such. And yet, they are working against American interests to turn Americans against America. This is a malicious intent versus an ignorant person who doesn't know politics and goes with the popular or whatever side of the false dichotomy of politics they choose to be a part of as a tribe. Yesterday was the elections in certain states for mayors, some governors, some propositions. And the Democrats swept. With Trump winning the presidential election, does that not sound weird? Trump was president for a first term, and we had Biden for 4 years. Why did Trump win in 2024? Such that for these elections, the Democrats swept. You never thought to pay attention to that, did you? It's part of game strategy or war strategy to catch these kinds of things. So I don't expect many, if any, to know about it. You'd have to be watching certain shows to know about it, or to know that both political parties have war rooms that they go over all kinds of scenarios and counter responses, reactions, potential for each action. Our government intelligence agencies are supposed to be doing that kind of thing to keep on the ball, to prevent terrorist groups from being sleeper cells in America. The New York mayor declares himself a socialist. He's Islamic. Is that the kind of America that the Constitution requires or allows? Have you ever read it? What does Article 4 say our form of government should be? Democracy? Socialism? Fascism? Oligarchy? Monarchy? Autocratic? Theocratic? A Republican form of government, quote unquote. So what kind of Republican form of government? Any? Communism is a socialist republic. The Union of Soviet Socialist Republics. What does Article 6 say? That the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, and all must adhere to it. A constitutional republic, not communism, not fascism, which is a representative republic. So Mamdani, is that how he pronounces his name? Is unconstitutional. He is not allowed to be mayor. He is violating the oath of office before being sworn in. I'm not sure when the swearing in date would be. He's celebrating right now. But once he swears in, he has to denounce socialism. He even has to denounce and separate himself from Islam to be in politics. Because religion, especially one, cannot be implemented upon the whole of America, or in his particular case, the whole of New York as the mayor. You can't do that. It's a violation of the Constitution. So anybody familiar with the article on insurrection? And the consequences in the amendment for those who are forming a coup with another form of government in the United States of America. Yeah. America has fallen. But Democrats are thinking that they've won a major battle against Trump. And I'm very disappointed with the Alzheimer's PRES of Democrats, or dementia, or whatever other disease causes forgetfulness. What has Trump been doing this year to Democrat cities? Do you think this is going to be a dead issue? Trump will just stop? No. So, yeah. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints does not get involved in politics, though Trump this time around said they can, as long as it supports Trump. Church has been anti-Trump. Church came out after Trump had gone around with ICE and said that the first presidency statement is that the church will give aid and comfort to terrorists and criminals. Church does not care. And Trump did nothing. Left the church alone. Governor Cox stood guard to claim we're going after the illegals. That's not the definition of illegal that Trump's talking about. Now they're called Antifa. Are you Antifa? As a Democrat, are you Antifa? Do you know what Antifa is? It's anti-fascist. So if you're a Democrat, you're anti-fascist. If you're LGBTQIAPO+, you're anti-fascist. If you're black, you're anti-fascist. If you're a woman, you're anti-fascist. If you're poor, you're anti-fascist. Whole long list. You really need to pay attention. Too many Mormons think that they can coast by. They've got their life. They want it to stay that way. And their life is now ruined. Federal government shut down. There are millions of Americans who are now going hungry. Businesses are having to close. It's on the news tonight, the restaurants too. Anybody hear that yesterday? From me? I do other videos, you know. So, lots of things to pay attention to. They're old, the living prophets of Jesus. Because you studied Mormonism, right? You've studied the scriptures, right? So you can explain Matthew chapter 1 for me? Do I need to go over it again with you? Because everybody should have questions, especially Christians. If you were to do a book report on Matthew chapter 1, what grade do you think you'd get? What is the name of the baby supposed to be? Is the baby a descendant of whom? So, trying to warn you guys all these 9 years, 9,000 videos. Trying to save your lives. And I'm still getting attacked by the very people I'm trying to save. And I'm not forcing you to. I have YouTube that was created to allow me to send out the warning to all the world, assuming your country allows England or America as one of the countries, and that you look for American content. And so I don't go to other people's channels and say that they're stupid or that they're ugly or bear my witness that my religion and beliefs are true. I leave other people alone. If I need to talk about another channel, another video, I will do it on my channel. It is not my place unless they pose a serious threat, which should have been addressed by YouTube. Going to be posted tomorrow. So, how many of you are repeat viewers? How many have seen one of those videos in the past couple of weeks now, in which I found in the Joseph Smith papers a document by a group calling themselves the Danites. These Danites are confessing outright that they were a secret combination in Joseph Smith's religion, that they were the ones who changed Joseph Smith's church name to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, that they had their secret headquarters at Adam-on-Diamond, plotting a 200-year-old plot to overthrow the United States of America and the whole world with Armageddon, to frame and blame Jesus for it. That they are Christian, not Jewish, of Joseph Smith in the Book of Mormon. Oh, you didn't know that? What kind of a Mormon are you if you're not studying your scriptures to know that we were supposed to be Jewish? It's right there at the beginning of the Book of Mormon. Why didn't you know that? Why are you upset with me for saying that we're not Christian? Do you even know when Christianity started? Do you know the first creed of Christianity? Do you know what they did to the Jews? What kind of a Christian would you be if you didn't know those questions, the answers to them? So, this church is the great and abominable church that the Book of Mormon talked about. And it is sad that Mormons refuse to learn for themselves that that is the case. That Mormons, without studying, will act exactly like a Danite did under Joseph Smith to defend this church physically, regardless of whether the church is right or wrong. And you'll never know that you're supposed to be looking for and waiting for a fellow Mormon to come and save you. Not some supernatural person whom the prophets say is literal history true and physical, but you're supposed to know about it spiritually. That's what I wondered before 2020 or 2024 and the final day of darkness over the United States of America. How are they going to fool Mormons? Will they do it like 1984 with Big Brother? Everybody's in forced manual labor, always being spied on, never being allowed to read unless their job requires it, and only for what they allow to be read. All books are banned. Fahrenheit 451, books are banned and burned. People go to prison for confiscating books, for having confiscated books. Or would it be like The Time Machine, the reboot, where the holograph in the library recognizes the time traveler in the future? And there'll just be an AI creation repeated over and over and over again for the millennial reign of peace and happiness in Zion. Are you sure you're going to go to Zion? Are you sure you're qualified? For not having studied, are you sure you get to go? When you attack other people because they don't say what you want them to say? That you think you're some kind of a superhero for no-fap Jesus? Going around threatening other people? For reading the Book of Mormon? The words of Joseph Smith? Yes, I had that guy. He had his AI image for his thumbnail picture as a superhero, an avenging angel, and he was a no-fapper in his description of who he was. And he was saying, "Are you criticizing this church?" So, yeah, he was going to come and get me. He was tell me what's what, just like the Danites. Do you know that the Danites were the Order of Nehor? Do you know what the Order of Nehor is? Do you know that it's in the Book of Mormon? Did you know it was in Alma chapter 1? Do you know what it was for? What it was about? Why are you a Mormon then if you don't know? Because if you just said, well, he was an Antichrist, if you don't know about the Mormon who's supposed to come and save you, you're an Antichrist because you don't believe in him. So heads up, something's up. And I'm horrified with KSL promoting Nazi psychology still. Simple is powerful. Build a sustainable walking routine in 3 steps. That is not news, in case you didn't know. They put a person on who does a thing for which they make money for, and the KSL is promoting her business, and it's not for everybody. You should really see your medical doctor, especially as you get older, as to what would be best for you. Connection over competition. 4 ways to help kids prioritize connecting in youth sports. That's a little too complicated. Just let them play. Stop trying to micromanage a kid. Leave them alone. Give them their agency. You do know whose plan of happiness it was to take away agency? That's exclusive Mormon doctrine. You're a Mormon, right? And then the third one, the 3-week gratitude challenge. How to make your home more inviting without ... All of that is crap. Do you know that it originated in Nazi Germany? World War II? You do know about World War II, right? You do know what they did to the Jews? Did you know that they did it to Utah? They've been doing it to Utah. After World War II, the CIA gave them asylum in America to work with the CIA in America on American soil to perform human experimentations, tortures, abuses of Americans. And Utah was one of the hot spots for them. That's why we're number 1 in psychology for the rest of the nation that are horrified with the new concentration camp that's being built for the homeless. The rest of the nation doesn't treat the homeless like this, let alone mentally retarded people. Oh, they're not called mentally retarded anymore? Well, what are they called? So it's the same thing as mentally retarded, huh? But we don't say mentally retarded even though it's the same meaning. Sort of like replacing swear words. It still means the same thing, but I guess it's okay to say the replacement. If we can convince the ratings board to We Are Soldiers from an R rating to a PG-13 rating so that Mormons can watch it, then that's okay. Or if you go to Canada and it's PG-14 rather than M for mature, then it's okay. All of these are designed to control your life, to take your agency from you. And they set it up for you to give it away. To be addicted to them, to tell you how to think, how to feel, how to believe, and what to do. Just like an astrologer, fortune teller, soothsayer. Psychology is evil when you know Mormonism. Book of Mormon condemns psychology that the Nazis practiced. But you got to know your Book of Mormon. You got to study it. Did you know that the theory of evolution is condemned in the Book of Mormon? Did you know that the Big Bang is condemned in the Book of Mormon? Lots of stuff are condemned in the Book of Mormon that are commonplace in our world, in our societies, in our schools. As a Mormon, why didn't you know this? This is why I pay attention to the church, because I know they're the enemy, not just for what they did to me. The question is, why aren't you finding out? Why are you allowing yourself to be their hostage willingly, to be ignorant about reality? That what is going on, if it hasn't affected you directly, it will. So why, with everything that's going on, are you still pretending to be stupid about it? Why do you think you don't need to study and pay attention to what's going on in the news? You may not understand it. I'm 55. But like I said, I had questions as a kid, and I eventually found out. Because once you plant a seed, and you produce the fruit has more seed. Then you plant those, and it produces more fruit with more seed. And pretty soon, you've filled up the world, metaphorically speaking, with seed, produced fruit. Because once you do it, you know that it is good, and that it'll always produce after its kind. You will never plant an apple seed that you know produces apples, and some mutation all of a sudden occurs and now you've got an orange with orange seeds. That will never happen. Will never happen. So pay attention. Prophets are about to die.